How's it going, members? I'm just going to quickly go over trend lines. Now, trend lines is dynamic support and resistance. So what that means is it's just support and resistance but moving. It's not one flat price. Now we get a trend line after structure is made. So I'm going to give you an example here. From the high, we came up into previous resistance and then we broke previous lows. So the trend line then is from this high to the next lower high, as it's a bearish trend line. So we're going to take it from the top point to the next lower high, which is here, and you see we have our inner down trend line. Then there's also an outer trend line. If we take it from here to this lower high all the way over here, so we have an inner and an outer trend line. Now what this means is, as we've got in a bearish trend, we would be looking for shorts. And one very key point to note is that the third bounce on a trend line is the most significant one, as obviously on the second we're not sure that that is the high or not, but then on the third, that's where we're watching price eagerly, thinking, right, the bears could continue now as this is the third touch. So I'll show you an example. So from the inner trend line, we had the first, the second, and then the third here. We also had a bearish engulfing. It engulfed at least 5 candles there. So if you'd have entered the short on the trend line or after the candle, it wouldn't matter. You'd have got a nice sell. And then on the third, so on the outer trend line, 1, 2, and the third bounce again. You know, even though we just ever so slightly missed it, that still counts in my eyes because it's such a thin line. So as you can see again, on the third bounce on the trend line, we had a strong bearish hanging man. So that confirms, yep, we should be reversing, we should be heading down again. You enter the sell here, and again you've earned over 100 pips. So out of 2 times there, you've been correct both times. Now as you can see, price has broken out of the inner trend line, but still trading below the outer trend line. But what this means is it's just taking a bit of time, but we are expecting the trend to change. So then if we go down onto a lower time frame, like a 1 hour, and then we look for the counter trend line, so the uptrend line. If we go from the lowest low to the next higher low, as you can see again, 1, 2, and then the third bounce, and again it would have been a perfect buy, and we rose at least 300 pips there. So even simple things like that, a trend line can be very, very effective. I think sometimes it's overlooked because it's quite a simple line, but as long as you use it to your advantage and you're using it with confluence of other things, they can be very, very efficient. And that's all for the basics of trend lines. You can get a lot more in depth with it, with counter trend lines and all sorts, but this is just a starter trading course, so I hope that's giving you a better idea of what a trend line is and how to draw yours on and potentially pick a trade from it.